الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد يقول الله تبارك وتعالى في كلامه المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولقد خلقنا الإنسان من صلصال من حمأ مسنون رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, when it comes to the origins of the human being and its creation, Allah Azza wa Jal mentions numerous verses and uses different words to describe what we were created from. In one place, in one ayah, Allah Azza wa Jal says, خَلَقَهُ مِن تُرَابٍ إِنَّ مَثَلَ عِيسَى عِنْدَ اللَّهِ كَمَثَلِ آدَمَ خَلَقَهُ مِن تُرَابٍ. That Allah Azza wa Jal has created the human being from turab. What is turab? A more accurate translation of turab is not dirt, it is dust. Allah has created the human being from dust. In another verse, Allah Azza wa Jal describes إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُمْ مِن طِينٍ لَازِبٍ, that we have created the human being from teenul lazib. Teen lazib is sticky dirt, almost like clay, slimy dirt, clay type dirt. And in another verse, Allah Azza wa Jal describes وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ حَمَإٍ مِنْ صَلْصَالٍ مِنْ حَمَإٍ مَسْنُونٍ, that we have created the insan وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْ from altered dark mud that has been fermented, almost think of it as such. It has altered and now it's almost in clay form, almost in mud form. So dark altered mud. In another verse, Allah Azza wa Jal describes خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ صَلْصَالٍ in Surah Rahman, خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ صَلْصَالٍ كَالْفَخَّارِ, that He has created the human being from sounding clay, ringing clay. If you were to take your fingers and tap the pot made from clay, the ringing sound it would make, that's what Allah Azza wa Jal is referring to, that خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ صَلْصَالٍ كَالْفَخَّارِ, ringing clay. All in all, this could be understood as the different stages, that first dirt and dust was gathered, then water was mixed, it became mud, it was fermented, and then it became clay. But, question, we look at our hands, we look at our feet, we don't see any dust, we don't see any clay. You might say, how am I created from mud or dust? I don't see any dust. I see muscles, I see organs, I see tissues, but I don't see any dust or mud. There's different explanations. One explanation is that our forefather Adam alayhi salam was created from clay, and therefore we, being the children of Adam, are also referred to as having been created from clay. Another explanation, which is more palatable to probably many of us sitting here, is that everything that we eat and everything that we wear and wherever we live comes from dirt. Right? Fruits and vegetables that grow on trees, right? Where do they come from? Where are the trees planted? On the ground. And they get their nourishment and their energy from the ground, from the dirt. Well, what about the milk that we drink? Well, the cow gets its nourishment from hay. And where does hay come from? Grass? Where does grass come from? The ground. The goat, the sheep, the cow, the beef, the lamb, it eats what? What does it eat? Grass? Where does grass come from? Again, from the ground. You wear cotton. Where does cotton come from? Cotton plants. Where do cotton plants come from? The ground, from the dirt. You wear silk, or not permissible to wear silk, but silk also comes from silkworms, and they also get their nourishment from the ground. Wool, where does wool come from? Sheep. Original wool comes from sheep, right? And where do sheep get their nourishment from? Grass. Where does grass come from? From the ground. You live in houses made from wood. Wood comes from trees. Where do trees come from? Ground. So basically everything we eat, wherever we live, and everything we wear comes from the ground. In essence, we have been created from dust, from the ground, from the soil, from clay. Call it what you may. But this is the essence of the human being. Now coming to our topic at hand, as such, dust or clay has four qualities. Number one, and these are the qualities that we are to bring up, to bring out. Number one is that it absorbs. Yes, you can pour anything on the ground, on the dirt. What does it do? It absorbs it. It absorbs it. There's leftover tea in our tea kettle for 100 cups. Someone says, what should I do with this leftover tea? I said, put it on the ground, on the grass. It will absorb, absorbs everything. We are to absorb. Yes, human beings are to absorb. The trick is that we are to absorb khair, ad-dinu nasiha, to absorb the good. Our eyes, we see and we are influenced by what we see. We are absorbing. Our ears, we hear, and then we absorb. And our heart is a receptacle for whatever we see through our channel of sight, our channel of hearing. The problem is that if a person keeps the wrong company, he will absorb the wrong effects. And if he keeps good company, he will absorb good. If a person, not just teenagers, more so, the younger you are, the more you are influenced by your peers. But even elderly people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s are influenced by the people around them. Person hears the news, and then he's what? He absorbs it. He's influenced by it. So, what do we learn? We are to absorb the good, the khair. Whenever we listen to the talk of deen, we are to absorb. Sometimes we listen to a very beautiful lecture and we say, mashallah, mashallah, that was a beautiful lecture. We enjoyed it. Yes, you enjoyed it. You enjoyed it, no doubt. But how much did you internalize it? How much did you absorb it? فَمَثَلُهُ كَمَثَلِ صَفْوَانَ عَلَيْهِ تُرَابٌ فَأَصَابَهُ وَابِلٌ فَتَرَكَهُ صَلْدًا. If a person does not absorb, if it does not retain, if you don't retain what's good, then it's null and void. The second quality of dust is that it takes everything in and it gives back many times over. It takes one seed into the ground, yes or no? And does it give back one seed? It gives back 1,000 seeds. You put one mango seed into the ground, this is the quality of dirt. You put one seed into the ground, it will give you back 1,000 mangoes. To the extent that it takes in the dirt, it takes in fertilizer. And I don't mean the chemical fertilizer that is produced in factories, the organic fertilizer that is used on the farms in many developing countries. What am I referring to? Cow dung, human waste, animal waste. The ground, the earth, the soil, the dirt takes that waste, takes cow dung, and what does it do? It turns it around into what? Fruits and vegetables. It takes and it gives back. It gives back. Sometimes we take and we take and we take and we take and we take some more, but we don't return. We don't give back. As children, we take, growing up from our parents. They sacrificed their entire lives for us. And we take from them, and we take from them, and we take from them, and we take from them. And when it's our turn to give back, we don't give back. Living in this country, we are taking, yes or no? We are benefiting from this society, from the country that we live in. Many of us have a better lifestyle than we could have ever imagined in the countries of our origin. We are taking from this country. Are we giving back? Are we giving back? What is there to give back? How can we give back? That is a separate topic. But we, being the product of dust, should have the same quality of what? Taking and then returning. Return it back manyfold over. And the third quality of dust is that it conceals. It conceals. It hides everything. Pirates, when they want to hide something, what do? They put the treasure in the ground. They bury it in the ground. When 𝘾𝙊𝙉𝙏𝘼 killed his brother 𝘾𝙊, and he did not know what to do with the body, he wanted to hide the body. فَبَعَثَ اللَّهُ غُرَابًا يَبْحَثُ فِي الْأَرْضِ لِيُرِيَهُ كَيْفَ يُوَارِي سَوْءَةَ أَخِيهِ. Allah sent a crow. Allah sent a crow. Why did Allah send this crow? To show 𝘾𝙊 how to pray Salatul Janazah? Why did Allah send this crow? Allah sent this crow to show 𝘾𝙊 how to hide the body. And how did this crow show 𝘾𝙊, the murderer, how to hide the body? The crow, يَبْحَثُ فِي الْأَرْضِ, it began to dig the earth with its and then when it had made a hole large enough, there was a dead crow. It managed to push the dead crow into that hole, and it put dirt on top of it. أَعَجَزْتُ أَنْ أَكُونَ مِثْلَ هَذَا الْغُرَابِ. Now 𝘾𝙊 realized how he can hide his dead brother's body. So the ground, what does it do? It conceals, it hides. How can we have this quality, this trait? We are to hide each other's faults. We are to hide, not expose. We are to hide each other's faults. Man satara musliman satarahu Allahu yawm al-qiyamah. The person who hides the fault of his Muslim brother, Allah will hide his faults, his shortcomings, his sins on the day of judgment in front of billions and billions of humanity. What usually happens nowadays is a person will pick up the phone and say, I'm telling you, but don't tell anyone else. You know what happened? And then he'll pick up the phone again and say, I'm telling you, but make sure you don't tell anyone else. And by nightfall, by Maghrib, the whole Utah knows, yes, that this girl was seen with this boy. We tend to expose instead of hiding, instead of concealing. So one of the qualities of dirt is that it hides. And the fourth quality of dirt is that it has humility. It has humbleness. Everyone walks on it. Does it retaliate? People defecate on it. Does it retaliate? No, it is humble. It does not have an ego. It does not have an ego. It does not retaliate. We as human beings should rid ourselves of ego. Ego and kibr, takabbur, arrogance, pride is the opposite of tawadu, humility and humbleness. Where did I get that from? Well, when Iblis refused to bow down to Adam, what argument did he present? Ana khayrun min, I am better than Adam. Khalaqtani min nar, oh Allah, you created me from fire, not me. You created me. Iblis is saying, oh Allah, you created me from fire, and you created Adam from dust. Fire is better. Fire is embedded with kibr. Question is, where did Iblis get this arrogance from? How dare he say, Ana khayrun min, I am better than he is? Where did that come from? That came from fire. Because fire has this quality of arrogance. And what's the opposite? What's the opposite of fire? Dirt. So if fire has the quality of arrogance, dirt has the quality of humility and humbleness. Man tawada'a lillah, the person who is humble for the sake of Allah, rafa'ahu Allah. Then Allah Azza wa Jal will elevate him, not only in the life hereafter, but in this world. Maulana Rumi has mentioned that the 4 signs of a person being righteous, su'ada, from the fortunate. Fortunate is a better translation. Sa'id, being the fortunate one, the lucky ones. That Allah has something good in store for him in the hereafter. What are the 4 signs? Number 1, he loves ibadah. He loves, not, oh, I have to pray. If I don't pray, Allah will punish me. No, he loves ibadah. He loves to bow down in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. And he hates sin with a passion. He hates with a passion sin. That's one sign. Number 2, qana'ah. He is content with the cards Allah has dealt him in this life. In other words, whatever his taqdeer is, his own personal life journey, he is content with Allah. He is content with his qadr, with his destiny. 3rd sign of him being from the su'ada is that he loves the poor and the masakeen, the fuqara. He loves them. Doesn't look down upon them. He loves them. And the 4th, which is tied to our topic, is that he has humility and humbleness. These are the 4 signs, according to Rumi, of a person being sa'id. Now, since we're on the topic of dust and dirt and the essence of our creation, what the flip side of this, we know these 4 traits. What are the 4 traits? Number 1, absorb. Number 2, to take in and return manyfold over. Number 3 is to conceal. Number 4, humility. These are the 4 qualities of dirt. There's a flip side to this, which is that if we all have lawns, front yard, backyard, if you want to destroy your lawn, do you have to do anything in particular? No, you just leave it. Don't water it. Don't fertilize it, just leave it. Don't do anything. Just ignore your lawn. What will happen? It will turn yellow, the grass will die, and weeds will take its place. If you want to make something out of your lawn, then you have to put in the effort. You have to water it properly. You have to fertilize it. You have to irrigate it. You have to take out the weeds. To make something, you have to put in the effort. To destroy it, you don't have to do anything. Just let it be. Leave it to its own devices. The same applies for the human being. If we want to make something out of ourselves, if we want to be someone, we have to make an effort. Same applies for our children. Otherwise, our children will grow up like weeds. Growing up. Growing up. Yes, they are growing up. But that's not the question. Everyone is growing. That's not the question. What are they becoming? Are they becoming good Muslims? Are they becoming productive citizens? Are they becoming good human beings? Are they becoming decent, compassionate human beings? What does their moral compass look like? For that, an effort has to be made. That does not come without effort. Just let them be, and they will follow the easy route. Just like water follows the easy path downwards, they will follow the easy route, which is lust and sin and comfort and luxury. So may Allah Azza wa Jal make our children righteous and pious. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us from amongst the su'ada, from amongst the fortunate. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us tawadu, humility and humbleness. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. Please pray your sunnah.